Hello everybody, welcome to Casey's Garage. Today we're going to be installing a Sena 30K. Now, my little install is going to be slightly different than what you're going to do because unfortunately I can't get the Sena 30K to pair with my GoPro. So the knee-whir lapel mic that I use will also be installed as well. I'm going to reinstall it to make it more streamlined. However, if you follow the basic steps, it's pretty easy. So you should be able to follow the steps and get your Sena 30K installed pretty easily. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the chin pad, the cheek pads, and then we're going to take this back pad and we're going to pull it up. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so what you should be left with inside is just a bare shell. Now, you want to make sure that your Sena's earpieces right here are going to fit in a place where your ears go. So make sure that you've measured your helmet and see where it is that your ears go. Now, Sena includes a piece that attaches with double-sided tape to the helmet and attaches to your microphone with Velcro. So you'll want to install those. Now, before we go ahead and do that, what we're going to do is we're going to take the Sena 30K and we're going to make sure that we mount it. Now, the reason that you want to put this base plate on first is because you don't want to mount the speakers in a position and then the mount not actually be able to reach after it's put in place. Plus, once it's firmly in place, then you can move everything around without worrying about any other fitment issues. So look on the back here. What we're going to need to do is take an Allen wrench, put it in here, and loosen evenly on both sides. Until you get the desired thickness, which we will find out just how thick it's going to be, because it's going to go right here between this pad and this piece on the helmet right here. Now, some are thicker than others, and if you happen to have one that's too thick, they do have an extra piece that goes on the back that allows you to attach it with double-sided tape. Now, as you can see here, the Sena 30K is wedged between the padding right there and the helmet itself. So what we're going to want to do is set the mic to the proper spot in your mouth, and once we've got that adjusted, then we can tighten it down. Now, what you want to do ideally is have the mic in an area where you're not going to get too much wind noise, but it's also tucked away and hidden so that you don't end up with exposed wires. So right here looks okay for now. So we'll go ahead and tighten up the screws and continue on to the next step. Now what we're left with, as you can see, it's not perfectly tight on the front, but on the back it is really nice and tight, which is exactly what we wanted, and I'm not in shot. There we go. Let's try it like that. So you can see it's not totally tight on the front, but on the back it is touching properly. So this helmet should hold quite well. We shouldn't have any issues at all with it. Now, I ought to explain the towels here. So in order to make sure that you don't damage your helmet, like scratch it up or anything, you want to put it in a helmet donut. But if you don't have the money for a helmet donut, such as myself, well, I didn't really even price one, I just didn't want to buy anything extra. So what I did was I took just a towel and made a homemade helmet donut, and you can do that pretty easily. I don't even think I need to explain how to do that. So moving on, what we're gonna do next is where the helmet sits, you wanna know where your ears are, and that's where you're gonna be placing the Velcro spots for the speakers. Now they should be here and here, but depending on you, that may be different. On mine, that's about where they should go, so let's go ahead and do that. Now, there are spacers that come with this too, and depending on how tight your helmet fits, you may wanna have more spacers. They put the speakers closer or further away from your ears. So, I'm pretty sure that mine will be fine, but if it's not, then it's not hard to take it apart and add a spacer. They have a couple different sizes. So, feel free to play with it. Make sure it's perfect, because then at the end of the day, you're the one that's gonna have to live with the results. So, just make sure you get it right. All right, now that we have those installed, we're going to need to address speaker placement. Now, first thing, we go ahead and remove this film. It makes the speakers sound much better because that's just there to protect them so they don't end up getting screwed up in transit. What we're gonna do is these come with these ones right here. This covers here to make sure that everything is more not really touching anything. Now you can see there's a cutout right there for the wire. So we're gonna go ahead and take this short one, wrap this around, make sure that the wire is the one that's back end right there, covering that properly. You don't have to use these if you don't want to. Your cheek pads should be sufficient to do so. I'm pretty sure mine will cover it too, but just for an extra layer of protection, I'm going to be using it. So with that, just like that, the Velcro piece right there is what's going to stick to that piece that we just put in. All right, now what we're gonna do is we test fitted the wire just like that to make sure that it's going to go all the way down and back up. So these pieces right here are the this part of the Velcro instead of the soft part. So this right here is the soft part. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and stick this to the bottom of the helmet in there, and then we're gonna take this piece and we're gonna wrap it around so that the soft piece is what is going to attach. We're gonna wrap it around the wire, and that's gonna hold it in place until we put these in which case it's not gonna really matter because it'll be held in, but this is gonna stop it from moving around during cleanings of the pads and everything. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put one on each side of the bottom, or the top rather, depending on your perspective, I suppose. Do one on each side in order to make it as stable as possible. Like I said, you don't really need to do this. It's just an extra step I'm taking because I feel like it's gonna make it easier to service my helmet as time goes on. So we've got both speakers wired in. And now we're gonna go ahead and do the fun part, which is chasing the wires to make sure that they stay out of the way. So this piece right here needs to be uncovered. So we'll just tuck these two in between there, which would be a bit of a fight to get them in there, but they shouldn't come out once we get them through. But they're pretty much held out of the way anyway, but just making sure. Okay, the next step is we're gonna run the mics. Now, I'm running 2 mics, so you don't have to totally do what I'm doing, but it's pretty much the same concept. So the mics are going to go right here, and on my GoPro mic I'm going to wrap it around the sena in order to make it a little less tangled, and then I'm going to attach it that way. It's more out of the way and more firm. As we have these little mic clips right here. Now, when you put the mic on one side of the mic, you're going to see 1 little hole. On the other side, you're going to see 3. You want to talk into the side with 1. So make sure that's facing right there. Once you've made sure that's facing the right way, we'll go ahead and place this piece right here. It fits really nice and snug, and it's got little fish hooks on it to stop it from sliding back off. But just in case it doesn't manage to hold up, it does come with extras. So now that we have everything set up, what we're going to do is just the reverse of what we did in the first place. We're going to put this helmet back together and see how everything goes, and end up probably refitting a little bit, but for the most part everything should be right where it needs to go. So we'll just go in the reverse order, putting the back on, and then the cheeks, and then the chin mount, and the helmet should be ready to go. Now remember, where you mounted your sena, it will make this a little bit tighter, so it is something to look forward to. But one thing you'll see here on this particular one, we have a clearance issue right there, but we want that sena mic to go back there. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut a little notch in here, which will make it easier to fit this together. Okay, so now that you've wrestled together the part that you've modified, the rest of the helmet should go together normally. So I'll leave you with this, and the Sena 30K right now is ready to go. And once you get the helmet put fully back together, you're ready to go riding. So Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching Casey's Garage, and I'll catch you next time.